Hello and welcome to another video. Today we will be doing my July TBR, selecting it from my TBR jar here, which was inspired from August of Cozy Rosy Reads. Also, please don't look at my fingernails. I have run out of nail polish remover and that's all I need to say there. But before we get into selecting my July TBR, I just thought I'd talk about the books that I had read for the month of June. Now, I only got to read two. My boys and I actually had the flu for 3 weeks, and yes, I did get some reading done, but also trying to entertain a 2 and a 4-year-old while being home with took a lot of time and energy for someone that was also sick. So I didn't get as much reading done as I would have liked. So I'm hoping to get through some more this coming month for July. So the first book I read was for a book club that I'm a part of on Goodreads, and that was The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue. And I've heard you either love it or you hate it. I'm neither. It was okay. I love historical fiction and I do love flipping through timelines. I liked the idea of the story. However, and if you've not read it yet, this is a spoiler, so please skip ahead. But the ending just really ticked me off. I felt like Addie was just really selfish. She just made me so mad, and I thought about it for days, and I actually went back and I changed my rating from, I think, 3.5 or 4 stars down to 3. I wouldn't do it as a 2 because I did enjoy the majority of this book. However, I'm just really pissed at her. And the reason is, and I've not really heard anyone else say this, is, but I feel like, yes, even though she saved Henry's life, she still cursed him herself. She wanted to be remembered and he remembered her, which is wonderful. But for him to not be able to be with her, it just made me so mad that she was selfish enough to ask that he remembered her and that he then has to deal with that for the rest of his life. And yes, I understand that, you know, he wrote his book and, you know, she's a muse for many artists, but no one else had to carry that burden. And I just feel like if she really liked him and respected him and was so thankful and grateful that he remembered her, why would she curse him again? That's my opinion. Everyone has their own opinion. So I didn't love it. I didn't hate it. It was okay. I probably would not reread it. We will see. But I also felt like it probably could have had about a quarter of this book taken out and it's would have been the same. The second book that I read was Sweet Sweet Revenge Limited. I wanted something funny to kind of carry on from The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue. And look, a lot of people have said that this is really funny. And I was really hopeful. I really liked Jonas Johansson's breakout novel, which was The 100-Year-Old Man Who Climbed Out the Window and Disappeared. That was really funny. I like how he intertwines real life history or real life historical figures and then just takes some liberties with them and makes them kind of into these like ridiculous characters. I read the first half and then I skimmed the second half. And then halfway through skimming, I had already guessed the ending. I just didn't find it very funny. I felt like he had such great success with his first book, and this was really trying to copy that in a way, and it just wasn't very successful. I also had some issues with, and this could come down to the translation, not necessarily the writing. But I also found or felt uncomfortable reading some things. Like I felt like what I was reading was going to verge on the side of racism, but it was being used to make a point or being used to kind of make some kind of joke. So it didn't actually go that far, but I was getting very wary. That just kind of made me feel a bit uncomfortable with either the way it was written or the translation or the way they went about making the point. Anyways, so I skimmed the last half of it because I refused to DNF. So this one will be going in my street library because I feel like if no one has read Jonas Johansson book before, they may find it funny. The premise was really, really funny, and that's what really got me. It's all about, you know, a revenge service, and these two people find each other and they want revenge on the same person. So I thought the idea was good, but yeah, I just felt like his first book was better. So my personal opinion, like I said, someone else may find it really funny, and it did have some really good reviews on Goodreads. So it'll all come down to your own individual take on it. I have already put my library stamp and my book review stamp, which I'm not going to fill out, but I'll put this in my street library, and maybe someone else will enjoy it and want to keep it or enjoy it, write a review and return it. So they're the two books I actually completed, and I'm just kind of going through The Birds by Daphne du Maurier and other short stories. I've got through the first two stories, which was The Birds and I can't remember what the other one was called. I gave them both 4 stars, I believe. So I'm just kind of picking this up as a in-betweener, palette cleanser, something like that. So I'm still working on that one. I'm only 2 stories in, but I'm really enjoying just kind of breaking things up. So that is June, right there. All right, so as per usual, well, as per the last time I did this, which was for June, because I am brand new to YouTube, but I am a part of a book club on Goodreads, and we kind of all, well, people who would like to nominate a book, and then it goes to a poll, and then the top 2 get selected for the upcoming month. So the 2 books that we had to choose from this month was The Paris Apartment by Lucy Foley, and The Overnight Guest by Heather, I'm probably going to butcher this, Cuff, something like that. And just to not stress myself out, I am only selecting the one book out of the 2 that interests me the most. And this one definitely did. It sounds quite riveting, actually. True crime writer Wiley Lark doesn't mind being snowed in at an isolated farmhouse when she's retreated to write her new book. A cozy fire and complete silence. It would be perfect if not for the fact that decades earlier at this very house, 2 people were murdered in cold blood and a girl disappeared without a trace. As the storm worsens, Wiley finds herself trapped inside the house, haunted by the secrets contained within its walls, haunted by secrets of her own. Then she discovers a small child in the snow just outside. After bringing the child inside for warmth and safety, she begins to search for answers. But soon it becomes clear that the farmhouse isn't as isolated as she thought, and someone is willing to do anything to find them. So I started it last night, and I'm already 100 pages in, 98 pages in. So far it's keeping me very captivated. So that one is my kind of at least if I need to read one book, it will be this one or the one for the book club. And now onto the fun part, which is my TBR jar. I have added in, okay, here's the deal. I'm a little bit embarrassed to say this, but my TBR shelf has doubled since June. Last month it was pretty much this shelf, and now it is this shelf and the entire shelf below, and I have books like stacked everywhere. So I've had some really good trips to little free libraries. I've discovered some more in my local area, and one of them in particular is really, really good. I picked up like 3 books from there that I've had on my TBR for a while. My mother-in-law has given me some books. We've kind of done a bit of a trade, and I also had a really, really good day at a op shop, which I did do a vlog for. I went thrifting and to street libraries and then to my local discount bookstore, and I found 16 books. So here we are. Now, because of that I have actually added in some various different challenges, which I didn't have last time because I didn't have that much of a variety. But I've added in a couple of other things like read a translator work, or a book under a certain amount of pages, or the last book thrifted, for example. So we'll see where it takes me, but there is definitely more of a variety in here than what there was last time. So I'm only going to pick five. I'm only going to pick 5 more because I do have the overnight guest that I wish to read, and then we'll kind of see what happens from there. So what have we got? Oh goodness, photography on the cover. Oh, I know. I picked up this one at a street library, The Time Traveler's Wife by Audrey Neffenger? Something like that. Neffenger? Anyways, I think most of the people on BookTube will know what this is, and I've not actually read it yet, but it is a lovely copy. It's got the cracked spine and pages are a bit like yellowed, and yeah, so I think I'll add that one actually because I've not read it. I'm not 100% been intrigued by it, but I had books to swap out, so I figured that I'd give it a go, and if I didn't like it, it would just go on my street library. So I think we'll pick that one for photography on the cover. All right, next one. Ooh, yellow cover. This one is, I think, the only yellow cover I have at the moment. And it is Odessa by Manuel Villas. This one says, Odessa, a small Spanish town in the Pyrenees, is where our narrator was born, a place his father loved dearly, a place suffused with memories. What? Now, 46 years later, he returns to the valley with his own children on a summer vacation. His parents are dead, his marriage has ended, and he's struggling to piece together the bits of himself. Single and living in an apartment he hates, clinging to snatched moments of quality time with his apathetic children, newly sober, and with his career on the wane, the ghosts of the narrator's family besiege him, but also bring him hope. Out of despair, he writes his chronicle, his homage, this memoir of his family. Grandparents whose photos were never taken, whose funerals were never attended, parents unable to show their love. Maybe the tragedy of life is not death itself, but truly realizing the importance of family only once they've passed. Perhaps this trip to Odessa can help him fall in love with life, his life, once more. Yellow cover. That's that one. Alrighty, here we go. Number 3. Why? I've been wanting this one to come up. So Why came up last month and I didn't have any Why books, and I put it back in the jar, and then I just bit the bullet and bought a story that I've been wanting to read for a while now. And actually I'd forgotten that this one does have a yellow cover, but I have one Why story. I'm not saying book because it is just a story. The Yellow Wallpaper by Charlotte Perkins Gilman. And it is like, it is only 15 pages long. And I'm so excited to read this. It was first published in January 1892. And I believe it was kind of, in a way, it doesn't actually say anything, but I believe my understanding of it is it's kind of, in a way, an essay of this lady's experience in an institution, I think. And it changed the way that certain things were dealt with, I believe, in its time. So I also hear it's quite harrowing. So I'm very excited to read this. If I have butchered the description, let me know in the comments below. But that is my pick for Why, and I'm so thrilled. Once again, look how thin that is. All right, fourth one. Oh, I'm so excited I picked that. I got that one. Ooh, poetry. I do actually have 2 poetry books. I'll show you what they are. I have Homebody by Rupi Kapoor, and I also have DKMH by Dacre Montgomery, and I believe I called him Darcy Montgomery or Darcy Montgomery in my last video, but it's actually Dacre, D-A-C-R-E. Sorry. Anyways, I have these 2 to pick from, and you know what? I think I'm going to pick this one. It's written by a young Australian actor. The sections are fear, love, anxiety, and spirit. And then at the front is also a bit of a playlist. And then also just a dedication to his mother, which goes on for a couple of pages. And I believe it's a bit of a information about why he's written it, for example. So yeah, I'm going to pick this one. Yeah, there's a couple of little line images in there. So we'll read that. This is becoming a very interesting pile. I've kind of got a bit of everything in there. I've got poetry, like a short story, thriller, literary fiction. Last one. I'm excited now. I want to see what it's going to be. Under 300 pages. All right, I do definitely have some books under 300 pages. Put those ones in there. I have The Castle of Otranto, which is under 200 pages. The Invisible Worm by Jennifer Johnson, which is under 200 pages as well. I should have written down a section for under 200 pages, not necessarily under 300. I'm going to pick the one that's closest, maybe. Trial and Error is 269, so that one is currently winning. I didn't realise I had so many short books. Oh, 204, The Magician's Way, that's not long enough. I can definitely tell you The Whispering News is not long enough. Trial and Error, which I had just picked up at a secondhand bookshop in my latest vlog, and it says on the back, shy and retiring Lawrence Todhunter decides to make one final contribution to humanity before he is claimed by fatal heart disease. He will eliminate the most obnoxious person he can find. He commits the murder, but then an innocent man is arrested for the crime. Horrified by this unexpected outcome, Todhunter is forced to turn detective to prove the authorities that they have the wrong man. This to me sounds really good, and I believe it was written in the early or like mid-1900s, like between the 30s and the 50s. It doesn't actually say when it was first published, but it does say the Society of Authors in 1937, and this author passed away in 1971. So I'm assuming it might be like around the 50s, something like that. So yeah, it's kind of a bit of a crime classic novel. So I'm just going to pop these quickly away. Cut my finger on the bookshelf. That is such a typical Rebecca thing to do. Alrighty, I'm going to show you the 5 books that we picked. So Time Traveler's Wife, Odessa, The Yellow Wallpaper, DKMH, and Trial and Error. And then my book club pick for the month is The Overnight Guest. So I'm excited. I should be able to get through this. I would hope so. Definitely the first 4. The Time Traveler's Wife is a little bit thicker, but I'm excited. I'm excited to let you guys know what I think about these. And if you have any further suggestions for videos for me, please let me know. In the meantime, I hope that you stay well and stay safe, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.